Physicians at hospitals all over the world are reporting a bizarre phenomenon that's seen a rapid rise in teenage girls developing tics or physical twitches, which doctors now believe has come from TikTok. Months of study lead doctors to believe TikTok trends and pandemic boredom to be the source via Tourette syndrome influencers on the platform. With hashtags such as hashtag Tourette's and hashtag Tourette syndrome, the trend has amassed an alarming 6.2 billion views on the platform as of yesterday afternoon. Research is now underway in the U.S. to discover the underlying cause of the rise in Tourette-like cases, including one recent article by a team of Chicago-based doctors published in the Journal of Movement Disorders. TikTok tics, a pandemic within a pandemic.
Wow.
Tourette syndrome, commonly misspelled as Tourette's, with the S is a nervous system disorder, which causes repeated uncontrolled movements such as blinking, seizure-like jerks, or noisy outbursts. They confirmed a huge uptick in tics across several U.S. hospitals. At Texas Children's Hospital, the caseload for patients with tics was just 1 or 2 per year prior to the pandemic. Now the rate is up to 100 this year alone, reporting tics since March of 2020. Similarly, Johns Hopkins University Tourette's Center saw a 50% increase of its pediatric patients arriving with these symptoms during the past year, whereas the typical rate prior to the pandemic was just 2 to 3% annually. Rush University Medical Center in Chicago doubled their annual rate of patients reporting tics from 10 last year to 20 this year alone. Neurologist Donald
Which is
Gilbert,
still small. Let's just say that. I mean, it's a huge increase.
Well, sure it is.
But yes.
But I mean, but that's what we talk about here.
Yes, I know.
We talk about very small groups, and as they expand, it becomes
yes.
we want
keep going. I'm
nip this.
Well, I'm fascinated by this because I have a couple hypotheses. But
neurologist Donald Gilbert, a specialist in pediatric movement disorders at Cincinnati's Children's Hospital, told WSJ that he has seen some new patients teen with tics every month for the past approximately 18 months when he normally would see 1 or 2 a year. Anxiety and depression wrought by COVID-19 safety restrictions may have contributed to the alarming trend, just one of the myriad dangerous results of rampant TikTok challenges. As stress is known to manifest as physical symptoms, doctors who spoke to the outlet agreed. Previous studies support the psychological origins of inexplicable clusters of people with TikTok or tic-like disorders. Some kids have pulled out their phones and show me their TikTok, and it's full of these Tourette cooking and alphabet challenges. Tics and TikTok, functional tic spread through social media, are also published in the Movement Disorders Journal. There are some kids who watch social media and develop tics, and some who don't have any access to social media and develop tics. So they did the study. It's really interesting. So
these are kids who are watching Tourette's, individuals with Tourette's or individuals mimicking Tourette's in the TikTok video.
Yes, and now these kids are mimicking that, or
Is
actually
that part of the challenge that they're mimicking it?
in some cases.
Okay. Which is God, that's terrible.
I don't know if you can make the direct.
No.
I don't know if watching TikTok will give you Tourette's.
Right.
I do find though, and we have all different types of social media platforms we're on, and we love Twitter because we can get in and get out. If you're on Facebook, you're going to be on it for a while. Instagram, picture, boom, younger crowd. TikTok, a little younger than Instagram. And I do find myself...
You can't stop.
Because my kid, you can't. And it's set up that it just keeps going, even if you want to stop. And, and again, in most cases, you want to catch someone for 5 seconds, and you have them for the duration of 15 to 30. It's difficult. You can't. It's a potato chip. You can't just. I know. One. You can't just eat one.
No.
And so there isn't a direct correlation of people who watch TikTok that develop Tourette's type symptoms.
Absolutely.
But I could certainly see that because every TikTok video I see is short. It's jerky. There's usually a lot of movement going on. There's oversensitization. And so I wonder if that has something to do with this as well.
I can tell you one thing, and is if it's part of the challenge to mimic at some level.
And I haven't seen these challenges. I don't know if they're, I'm assuming there are people with Tourette's doing these challenges, so I don't think this is something where we're shaming people with Tourette's, although I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
because it's not funny.
No, well, and that's what I was going to say. So one of the things is, particularly if it's part of the challenge and you're imitating the person, you're doing what they're doing. So if they've got a tick like this and you're doing this and you do it enough, in some kids it's habitual, right? It becomes a habit. It becomes a habit. Now, to their point, assuming that you don't have Tourette's syndrome, but that you have what they're calling these functional tics, when you put the modeling of it, right? So you're watching it and you're doing this to as part of the challenge, or you're just seeing it over and over again. You throw in anxiety, stress, anxiety. Stress and anxiety are risk factors for the development of functional movement disorders, right? So we see this a lot in kids. Kids will have what they call them nervous tics. Again, not necessarily Tourette's syndrome. The kid kind of goes like this, the kid goes like this. See it, and most kids grow out of it. Most of it is sort of, when I say anxiety, stress, anxiety driven. But it becomes habitual on two levels. It becomes habitual. One, it's me crossing my legs like this, right? But on the other, just from a muscular standpoint, and this is what is super interesting, your muscle gets used to twitching.
Yeah.
Right? Your muscle, and it just starts. It's almost, I wouldn't call it a spasm, but that's what it's doing. Your muscle is working on its own because you're spending so much time doing it that it ends up doing it on its own. It is not surprising, because what's totally unique about TikTok in particular, particularly if you're getting in the feed, is you're seeing it time and time again. It's the learning trials are just unbelievable, which you wouldn't, in any other scenario, you wouldn't see it unless you lived with someone who had Tourette's.
It's really interesting because I love the fact that there's a platform that if you have Tourette's and you want to do, again, I don't know what these challenges are, and I probably should find out what these challenges are.
Right.
If there's it makes me sad that we're belittling.
Well, that's what my fear is.
A syndrome of people, because if you're acting like you have Parkinson's,
right,
or Alzheimer's, it's pretty stinking sad,
right?
Because
or autism,
or autism, and we don't want to belittle people that are stricken with these challenges and these syndromes. Again, I don't know if they're coming from people actually that have Tourette's and they found a platform. And again, 6.8 billion views of these TikTok challenges. We had the same thing before social media.
We did.
Well, sure we did.
What?
You're going to jump that ditch with that. With your bicycle,
right? And then we had Jackass, which actually videoed.
Yeah, you're gonna jump off the pool table, or
no, the roof it was off the roof into the swimming pool.
Yeah, and we talk about it, or you're gonna do the loop-de-loop on the swing set.
Yep.
Yeah, those were our challenges. You're gonna eat this bug.
Yes.
Well, we did stupid shit like that.
Dog food.
Yeah, you're gonna go sniff your dog's butt, and we're gonna. But now we're videoing everything. But you do it, and you wouldn't talk about it. You're gonna put your tongue on the frozen flagpole.
We had raw eggs.
We had double dogged areas. We did that, but it was.
Well, but again,
now challenges get out so quick.
Well, yeah, because
there's millions of views, and there's this thing now where I think it's called Slap Your Teacher or something.
Oh, what?
It's a whole TikTok challenge. And you have to video. It's stupid because they know exactly who's doing it, where you're supposed to go up and slap your teacher upside the head. And
oh
yeah. Pull up the slap your teacher in the head TikTok challenge. I mean,
you gotta check out Bones.
Well, and at a lesser level, and this was for a charity, one of the biggest challenges, the ice water.
Yeah, I did
ice bucket. Yeah, I did too. But it was for charity, and it got to the point where people weren't raising money. They were just, everybody, the celebrities did it. They were pouring the ice. We did it on our front porch. It was hilarious. But it didn't hurt anybody. It was fun. It was neat. Everyone videoed it. We did it with the opening drive.
I think the tick one is super telling, and just how powerful, what we call modeling is. Monkey see, monkey do.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey see, monkey do is really what differentiates, particularly primates, us, from other species is we can learn what's called vicarious learning, meaning we can learn something without having to actually do it. Mm-hmm. What's super interesting is we can develop a functional motor disorder by watching it.
Yeah.
Watching it and then potentially doing it. It's a habit.
Are you? Does it scare you or amaze you or both of the things we're going to see over the next several years because of this pandemic? Because all this stuff's going to start coming out. And a lot of it's because we had boredom. A lot of it we're going to create ourselves.
Yes.
I was up at Publix and they had one of these Lyft people and she was running through the aisles and she was on the phone and she was in the way and she wasn't friendly. And I was like, I really miss the days when we used to come into the shopping. And I was talking to the woman. I says, she's like, it's helped our business.
Yes. Stop slamming on the shoppers. I know you hate the
I do hate the shoppers because I think people are lazy and no one's too damn busy to run to a grocery store. But, if you're in a wheelchair or you're an older person, but they've always had that. They'll always shop for you. She said, I really do miss, this is the woman checking me out. She goes, this is where my friends are.
Which one was it? Does that mention her name?
I don't recall her name. Okay. She's not it wasn't Pam or Santo. But she's like, I do miss, having people to come just do the task, because going to the grocery store used to be where people met and saw each other. And that's why Publix is where shopping is a pleasure. It's not really a pleasure when someone's running up down the aisleways trying to shop for 3 or 4 different people. Then they get in front of you in line. And again, whatever. But they've got 3 different orders. So they got 3 different credit cards. They got 3 different sets of coupons. And
show some compassion.
I am.
Go to different
lines. I'm okay
They're
with
earning
it.
a living.
And they have 2 of the best parking spaces in the parking lot, which are always empty. That's not me, because I enjoy shopping because I do know the people up there and I like it. It's like going to my favorite bar. I know people.
That is true.
It makes me happy. And so, but they got their own thing. And that's fine. But that is one of those things that has really expanded quite a bit.
Yes.
Every restaurant you go to now has carry out, which is fine.
Well, they also have QR codes, no menus.
Yeah. Which we'll have here at Tony Kurre Radio too.
I think there's going to be a lot of things. I was thinking about the QR codes because it's genius, right? We've done things to adapt that have created innovation. We've been talking about this. Everyone's been talking about this. Had I invested in Zoom, right, or Microsoft? I think, and I heard a business report on this. The whole idea of business travel. Will business travel come back? Will it come back completely? Will it be gone completely? And of course,
even working in the office.
Well, yeah. And this is at companies across the nation, globally, are trying to make these decisions about, is it better or is it not better?
Yeah.
And it also becomes financial. Should we got this giant office thing. Should we sell it? Mm-hmm. Should we sell it and have people do remote? And I think that I think we always start thinking differently when we're thrown into an upside down, uncertain situation, right? It gets us to think twice. The problem is most of those situations, they kind of go away pretty quickly. Yep. Severe weather or a shutdown, electricity shutdown, or even the more prominent ones like a death in the family. But this thing has been so global, affecting everybody for so long, that we've created solutions that don't have to go away by the nature, but in the pandemic. We've created things that could stay. And again, I know I'm using wearing masks during flu season. Will you see people do that? The QR codes, I think, is really interesting. The social media piece. We had social media before. Will we see mental health effects? Yes. I mean, absolutely. I've talked about this. Post-traumatic stress disorder in our frontline workers. Yeah. Are we going to see hospital systems change the way they do work and triage? Yes. Everything is changing. And I'm going to say this very strongly. This whole idea that, we're going to get back to the way it was is gone.
Yeah.
Is gone. Yeah. Now, will we see, and I would even argue, there is no will we get back. we will continue to adapt to whatever is in front of us. It's not going to revert back because it already happened.
My biggest concern is that while we have tried to stay as connected as we possibly can, because we have been quarantined, we've been at home, we're not in the office with a group of people, as we try to get as connected as we can, we have created an inconnectivity or a disconnect with a lot of people. And we see this, it's like going on a date and you're texting each other from across the table. We joke about that. I don't want the personal. I had a buddy of mine yesterday. We're texting, and I've done it with you, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're texting back and forth 8 times, so I picked the phone up. And you might not answer. Maybe you're in another meeting and you're multitasking or what. But in most cases, they'll pick the phone. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this text shit. I'm just going to call you because. And he even said it. Yeah, you don't know where the inflection is on a text. Sometimes you can misread it. Texting wasn't supposed to take over for full conversations.
It is now,
or else not necessarily. But I mean, it depends on who you are and what you're trying to do. When you go in for a job interview, they want to see you because they want to see your body. They want to see your characteristics. They want to see how you approach people. I realize we have to have virtual interviews. I get that.
But even that you can.
But even now in business, I had a business call yesterday. I want you to come to my office. Absolutely.
See, I think this is.
I want to see you. I want to shake your hand. I want to talk to you. It's a partnership.
And to me,
and there's nothing like in person.
Ask
people in nursing homes.
No. I know, but I think that one. There's more nuance there because because this is what they were talking about with the business travel. There's nothing like being able to shake that person's hand. Mm-hmm. The question is, and I really say this as a question, does that tell you any more about the person shaking their hand than a good quality virtual interview? Again, I'm saying good quality. I'm not talking about text messaging compared to.
From top to bottom, yeah, because you can't always see a person's mannerisms. You can't see how they enter a room. You can't feel their... Listen, we always talk about body language. Screw that. You can feel a person's presence. There's a spirit in all of us.
But the question becomes... No, but I think the question...
And I think people can bullshit their way through a 15-minute virtual thing.
No way.
Don't tell me that having a virtual doctor's appointment is the same as actually sitting with a doctor and letting them have small talk with you and talk to you and actually putting their hand on their knee.
No.
I totally disagree.
No, hang on. Not
in every case.
No, but I'm talking about from a diagnostic purpose.
Yeah.
No, not from a diagnostic purpose. Now, are you asking about the emotional connection piece? Totally agree with you.
And I think emotional connection is super important depending on what you're doing.
Absolutely. And that's where I was going. Yeah. That's what I was trying to be provocative with this. The question is, do you need to have the handshake around business in order to somehow know more about the business endeavor that you're getting into than to be able to see and talk with the person? Does the handshake actually give you more, make it a better business deal from, predicting business success?
Well, we're dumbing it down to just a handshake. It's more than just a handshake.
I'm talking about the in-person meeting. I would say absolutely not.
Well,
absolutely not.
I can certainly think of 2 instances.
It may make you feel more comfortable.
I can tell you right now 2 instances where I would not have gotten jobs had I not seen that person in person.
Yeah, but this was pre-pandemic.
Because doesn't matter. I mean, I was living in Cincinnati. They want to hire me in Louisville. We want to fly you in. Well, can I just do it on the phone?
Yeah,
can I just Zoom do it? And they're like, no.
But there's difference. No. When you were in Louisville, they weren't. But stop. Because when you were in Louisville, they weren't doing Zoom. That's just because if you told me phone call, I would totally agree with you. I would never argue because this is so. This is my line of thinking on this. It's all about sensory, right?
It is.
Okay. So if with the exception of, and I think this is interesting, if you're blind, if you can't hear, right?
Yep.
Particularly if you're blind, you need to be connected to the person, but you can't see them, and so your other senses are heightened. But put that aside. It's all about sensory. So if I am only on the phone, I can't smell you, I can't touch you, and I can't see you.
Yeah.
If I'm on a really crappy video feed, I can see you, but you're frozen up. You don't look like a human being. If I'm in person, I get everything.
Yeah.
If I have a super good quality, on the video, and I can see, and I can see you, then I've got most of what I need.
You just said it though. What'd you say when you're in person?
Can I smell you?
No. When you're in person, you get everything.
Yeah, no, but that
you're not getting everything when you're virtual. You're not getting anything on phone call. You're not getting anything in text. You're not. You're getting everything, and in some cases, you need to get it all.
How do you know? That's what I'm telling you.
It depends on what the business is.
Yeah, but
it
that's
depends
what
on
I'm
the situation.
telling you.
How long
to
we
me,
just
the handshake thing.
Why do we meet for dates anymore? Let's just get on the phone and sit next to each other on the couch while we watch a TV show.
No, a lot of people do on video.
Yeah, good luck with those relationships.
Yeah, but you sound like an old man.
No, I don't. No, I sound like a human being that wants to have. I want to see people. I want to be around people.
I understand that.
And I know a lot of people feel the same way because I speak for all people.
Oh, you're so full of shit.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people, but I'm telling you, we have more of
it's an option now.
Yeah.
That's my point.
And I'm saying it's not always the best option. Will you agree with me?
It's not always the best. Yes, it's not always the best option, but it is sometimes a just as good option. That's my point. Absolutely. We waste more damn time traveling.
Yeah. Oh, I know you used to do it. I mean, you fly to Dallas.
Stupid ass reasons.
And you've got a reason to believe the way you believe because you have been flown to Dallas for a 1 hour meeting, and it's like spending all that money to get a hotel room for 1 hour when you could have done it virtually.
But that's the one.
And now you're doing virtually, and it's working the same way. But I'm just saying, depending on and every situation is different.
But
depending on the situations,
agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
We're always going to find common ground. I understand your side of it, but I do think we're getting to the point where person-to-person stuff just doesn't exist as much as it used to.
No, it doesn't.
And it can't because of the pandemic. But I hope we don't forget that aspect.
No, we won't. And I'll tell you one other thing, just to make this important, because a lot of social psychologists, sociologists, and anthropologists and psychologists have been talking about this. And I experienced this yesterday. We're temporarily losing our skills, our social skills. I gave a talk yesterday to, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 people, socially distanced. It was safe from a pandemic standpoint.
Yeah.
But I hadn't done that in maybe, 9 months. I can't describe it, but I think people can relate to this. I mean, I knew what I was talking about, but literally walking and talking in front of people, I didn't feel like I was going to fall over, but I was totally conscious of, okay, right foot stepping here, left foot. Did I just say that? It was the most awkward. It's like a sport that I hadn't done in 10 years. Trying to make it felt so rusty is the best way to do it. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing it. I'm watching people. We were talking about this at the thing yesterday. And it was, how close do you stand to somebody? Mm-hmm. Do you shake their hand? Do you give them a hug? I was talking to the CEO of urology centers. He said, because he's a leader, do I, when we have people come in, do I keep my mask on to let them know, and to me, this will forever change our society because we're thinking about things now that we never thought about.
Second nature. And in a lot of cases, it has given people an opportunity to explore some areas that made them uncomfortable because I know people that run AA meetings or Zoom calls now that would never get in front of a room of 25 people, but they feel comfortable doing it from their living room in front of a TV screen, which is great. The other thing is, in reverse of the way you felt, Rachel Barbeau, who's changed the narrative, she will tell you right now, she hates virtual. She hates phone calls. Yes. And she's like, I need to see the people's faces. I need to feel that spiritual connection and that emotion with those people, particularly because of her platform. And so, I
agree. Listen, I think that is a great example and one where I agree with you. And my wife is experiencing this now. She does tons of seminars, and they're always in person. And she had to pivot to everything online. And she, like Rachel, has said, being on a Zoom call with 50 people you definitely lose that connection. And I absolutely agree with you. Being in front of people yesterday as compared to this, and I've given that same talk virtually, it allowed me to more seamlessly connect with people because, again, our technology, listen, I can envision this because we never would have envisioned that you could see someone on the phone, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go a little Star Trek-y here, right? You could envision someday that the amazing screens that we've had. I don't know if you've ever been in a conference where I've been in the high end ones where the screen is a 360 pan.
Yeah, I saw one yesterday.
And it looks like it's scary because it looks like the person's sitting right there. We'll take it one step further. I'm using this as a hologram.
Yeah.
What if the people were really there?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Cool. What if it looked like shit? What if you are? What if you're not you?
No, I'm real. You can come over and pinch me if you want.
Okay.